Small farmers don't have a lot of pocket change, you know, there's just not a lot in the bank. We have a lot of wherewithal and a lot of drive, but not necessarily a lot of money to work with.
We looked at buying a 40-acre piece of land, $8,000 an acre, all said and done. If we wanted to grow something like vegetables, it would cost us $1.25 million. So yeah, all the land that we farm, we rent. I'm Adam Gaska. I own and co-operate Mendocino Organics with my partner Paula. We're a diverse organic biodynamic farm providing food for our local community in the Bay Area.
I'm Erica Helen. I'm from Oklahoma.
I'm Joel Salatin, and I'm from Free Union, Virginia. We are a grass farm. We're called Free Union Grass Farm.
And we raise pastured poultry, chicken and duck, 100% grass-fed beef, and super free-range eggs.
We're using this land. We got offered it by a local food organization.
We work 40 hours a month for the landowner to work in exchange for rent, and at least the implication was to have some level of authority on that farm, this farm. Even if you give us free land, there's so many strings attached. There are some games that you just have to play, and there's hoops you have to jump through.
I mean, I think in monoculture, like it's like a big commodity is always going to exist. You have more and more centralization and just focusing toward one crop. People that are farming 1,000 acres or 2,000 acres, doing most things with machines, farming 10 acres isn't going to be worth it. And I think it's going to continue to be like that, to where these medium-sized people are basically going to abandon their land or whatever, or stop farming it. I mean, for people like us, it's great because then there's land to lease or whatever, because that is more of an appropriate size for what we're doing.
I think that you have to be creative with the land use and what land you have. You're not going to get the perfect 500-acre farm first time at bat, or ever. The idea too is we have kind of a trial 15 acres, and if we can do a good job really improving it and making it look beautiful, maybe they'll give us the other 500. So.
It seems like a critical mass that once we lease our first piece of land and people see that we can actually farm it, more people are offering us land. So now we just looked at number 6 the other day, 6th parcel, but we'll be at about 110 acres. And then, right now we're employing, besides Paul and I, 1.5 more employees. So.
We're able to raise our product and make money, and we're also able to hopefully improve the land that we're on, so it's kind of win-win. We can do it for free because it's beneficial to the property owner, because we're really beautifying and improving the soil. We just moved the chicks one space, which is 12 feet, and then what remains is a fresh patch of manure. They ate a lot of weeds, they ate the bugs in midsummer, and the rain will wash this in and really promote some good growth. So this is why we do it.
We graze sheep in the vineyard during the dormant season. That's basically one of the main reasons why I came here, or that the landlord wanted me to be here. In about March, once the cover crop's grown up enough, we put them out in the vineyard, and it works out so that they munch it all down within about 1 week. So it kind of saves them one tractor pass, is pretty much what it does.
There's always on that country store back there on the porch. Do you see the second one? There's always like 3 or 4 old guys sitting on the benches. If you're in a F-250, if you're in a truck, they always wave. All 3 of them will wave. I've never gotten a wave in this car or gotten a wave in my Volvo. But as soon as you get in that truck, you get all waves.
I think for other young, new beginning farmers, it's still trying to figure out the sort of social logistics of that, trying to find equitable arrangements so the landowner feels like they're getting something out of it, but it's also fair for the person farming there.
Secretly, I kind of think that we got signed on to just be kind of glorified dog sitters, but because we don't really have anything to do with the organic process at this point besides the chickens.
It's complicated when you're younger than they are, and when you're indebted to them in a way because you're living on their property, you're living in a house that they own, that they built, and the equipment and the tools that you're using are theirs. I mean, you feel like you can only say so much. Our understanding was that all activity here was moving towards as organic as possible, and I think honestly we were really misled. We've not been given any authority to actually operate the way we anticipated and the way we have to for our own business. It just turns out that existing farm manager has no knowledge
Or interest.
or interest to be persuaded to do things differently. I had seen him up on the adjacent field calibrating his machinery. So I asked him and I said, what are you going to be spraying up there? And he said, well, I'll be spraying Grazing. And Grazing is a really toxic herbicide, and any breeze that stirs from where they're spraying will certainly come over and make contact with our animals. This is our livelihood. These are our animals. The misinformation is just unacceptable. It's just stupid. So that was my morning. Sorry.
I think we drive 25 minutes one direction, the farthest place we lease. It's probably one of the hardest things, just because once you load up all the tools in the truck, if you forget one thing, you're screwed. Not to mention gas. I mean, gas is close to $5, so then that one mistake or whatever, it could just cost you $5 or $10 in driving.
It's just a lot of work and stressful, not knowing what's going on at that farm. You can't see the cows or hear the chickens if something's going on. But using lots of small properties might be something that we might have to deal with forever. So figuring out how to automate that and make that sustainable is definitely a challenge. When you're talking about a functioning democracy, in Jefferson's ideal, you're talking about a lot of small landowners. Everyone needs a patch of land and everyone needs to be able to farm it, if they so choose. And when you do that, it gives everyone an unbelievable amount of freedom and liberty and strength to, be in charge of their life.
A lot of the places that we farmed were either underutilized or in some cases virtually abandoned, which is good for our local community economy too. Is that we're starting to actually make these places create wealth for the community.
It's one thing to be socially aware and feel socially responsible and operate in a way that benefits all of those around you. You have to be able to support yourself, and you have to have the knowledge and the tools and the education to be able to do that.
So yeah, this is a lot of work. I think the challenges are more than we ever imagined. But I think it comes with time and experience and age, and as we grow older and people trust us more, we can, make it happen. So.